I'm going to go through how I book 7 calls in 10 days in a brand new industry. If you ever sign on a client and you do cold email, any sort of service for them, and you're not able to get results at all and they churn, this is probably for you, trying to figure out how to do this. If you're in a brand new market and you're trying to understand how to get people to answer your emails and get them to actually respond and you can close them, this is probably for you. Or if in general your cold emails just suck and you want to know how to get better at cold email, this video is also for you. I'm going to go through the exact framework that I use to book the 7 calls in 10 days, and also how it's such a copy and paste framework that most people can do too, because I'm going to go through the campaigns I ran, the copy, pretty much everything. So let's get right into it. If you don't know who I am, I run MTOS and a lead generation agency, and here are just like a few results that I do. You can pause them and look at them yourself. This is just cold email, and it's just meetings, meetings, meetings. This is what happens when you run cold email for a long time. So the goal of cold email will always be to book calls, and I'm going to walk you through my process for each market and each offer, and why it's such a copy paste framework, and most importantly, how you guys can do it too, because that's really the most important part here. So at the beginning of any sort of process that you're running, you need to figure out your client profile, who you're actually working with. These guys are they do custom AI software, and they basically build out custom AI software solutions for people. They have a ticket size of between 10 to 20K. They were targeting social media agencies and building out just kind of build outs for them in general. They had no case studies as of yet. They were working with one client at this exact moment when they came to me, and they're based in the USA. Awesome. So the first step is AI, and I use AI a lot in my campaigns. It's just littered throughout my channel. It's based up basically everything I do because it just streamlines the entire process. You make everything way easier. So at a base, I needed to know who I'm after, why slash what the prospect gets, and where they're located. Very, very important stuff. So I did Monsieur ChatGPT. And if you haven't used this for market research, use it, or else you're losing and you're just failing and you're not booking calls. This is probably why. You just ask it questions like, this is just a brief overview. This is my ICP. This is my service. They're between X and X size. Can you give me a list of 20 benefits? Then ask, draft me trigger questions based on the ways we can help, and make sure they use industry lingo. Very simply, you need to have the language that these people speak. Because if you're like speaking a language that these guys don't speak, it's like, what does that even mean? You know, they don't understand you. You're not getting your point across. They're not in enough pain. And what I'd recommend is on my channel, there should be another video going through the whole AI process I use to go from A to Z on basically prompting AI to give me all the trigger points and all the angles to run on my campaign. So you can have a look at that. Have a look at this after because it's actually really good and I use it for all my campaigns as well. So next is the lists, and this is also extremely important. I spend 70 to 80% of my time kind of on this, the list building. This took me 4 days to set up, from what I remember, 4 to 5 days ish. So I needed a list, scripts, and then I ran it all into a Clay table. And I used Clay as well to run the list. And I'll show you the table now. So I drafted up 4 proven campaign angles that I've run before and based the lists off them. Apollo came in handy for sourcing the leads, and I needed around 10K leads as we were blasting 3K a day this is for the first 2 weeks anyways. So pulled around 40K leads from Apollo, had 26K post validation, and then 50% of them were removed via Outlook. And then I ran a Claygen search over their website to see if they produced the necessary services. So I'm just going to show the Clay table now. Here we are. So this one is Europe, and this has 20K leads. And then if I come over here, hopefully it'll change. But these guys are America. So if I just, I love Clay. So as you can see here, so all I did was I ran a lead magic search over them, and it just told me if they're valid or invalid, which is the first kind of point in time. And the most important thing is they actually tell me if it's Google Workspace, if it's Microsoft 365, etc., all this kind of stuff. So I basically removed Microsoft 365 because there's a bit of a crisis right now, and it's nice that like we were able to bypass it by knowing who we're actually emailing. And like if you email to Microsoft right now, you're just landing in spam, which is incredible. Everyone loves landing in spam. So you run that, and then you come over here. Where did I go? Yes. Okay. So then before, so if the criteria was if they weren't proof point, so this is Mimecast. Proof point should be here somewhere as well. But basically, proof point and Mimecast are. By the way, if you're looking to send 30 to 50,000 highly personalized cold emails each month, there's a link below to book a call We generally work with B2B businesses doing over 20K a month, and they're basically relying on inbound channels right now. So inbound leads, referrals, and they basically want to diversify. So if this sounds like you, we typically only onboard between 2 to 5 new clients each month, depending on how busy everything gets on our end. So with that out of the way, let's continue. Probably great security softwares that stop spam and cyber hacks. So it just stops people getting hacked, and it's actually very important because we can't be getting hacked like that because it's really important. And I'd rather have them have it and not get hacked and have all our stuff go down, like that thing with CrowdStrike. I think that's what they're called. Even though that was a software update, but we can't have that happen. And basically, where I'm going with this is if they weren't Office 365 or Microsoft 365, and if they weren't Mimecast or Proofpoint, I was like, okay, these guys are a valid lead, which is fine. I then put it through ChatGPT and I just formatted the company name. So if I run this here, yeah. So you'll be given a company name for a company. Your goal is to take the company name, remove any irrelevant information, remove anything generic, shorten the word. I'll put the formatted company name, and then I gave it some examples, right? And all it does is instead of being like Michael-esque media, it's Michael-esque. If it bestseller hunter, it's just bestseller. So in the email, it's like, does bestseller need this? Or does it's not bestseller hunter because that's just not natural. Or it's like link agency, it's just link. It's like, does link need this? Not link agency. Does link agency need this? So you just want to run it through something like this and you can validate all the leads. And only run it because obviously this costs tokens. It like costs like 1/10,000th of a token or something. I don't even know what that is. It's like 1/10,000th of a cent. Like it's like no. I just don't even. But what was actually really, really important here is if I come over here, here we are. So this is actually where it got very interesting. This is uh, website services. So all I did was I ran a scrape on let me open this up. So I basically ran a scrape on all of their websites and I gave it, you are a private investigator. You're going to provide you with a website of someone I want you to investigate. Your job is to confirm if they provide any of these services. Because these guys, AI guys, can only run certain services, which is like blog content, GIF, stories and ephemeral content, podcast, video production, copywriting, captions, content marketing, social media management. So they have to have at least one of these services to work with them. And I'm going to be honest, this is probably why this campaign works so well because I was able to cut through all the BS and get to the actual people that needed the service. So it doesn't have to explicitly say that these exact services. I just want you to get a general idea if they do provide these services. If you cannot find it on the web, the first page research pages can first page research pages connected to the website. There should be a comma there. If you cannot find one of the above services, please output no data. If you do find services, only output the services and nothing else. So I ran that for give or take like 40,000 leads. Oh yeah, we should save the comment then. And then basically from there, depending on whatever variables, which I'm going to go into later on in this video, which is like these other lookalike or not lookalike searches, these other tables. So I then sent it to a different table because I like to split up my clay tables into validation and like actual mapping, and then also then the second half is like the AI personalization because when everything's in one table, it just looks like a big mess, and I don't want to run that. So let's go back here. I went out of big screen and we're gonna go back into big screen because it looks nicer. I was so confused. I was like, what? So yes, and then there's a few other campaigns I ran as well. So I finished with around 11K leads, which is actually pretty good, considering half of them were like not leads, and then the other half, like there's a lot of things. And if I wanted more leads, I could validate catch-alls, etc. But these guys had a massive TAM, and it just like I was like, okay, it's not necessary. So although broad, this was a strong list since I use AI to filter out the non-ICP. So the next I ran was a look-alike search. So this was incredible. So the second campaign angle used Ocean. They do look-alike searches. So Ocean.io. I drafted one with the clients they currently have. So they were working with one person, and it was around 2K leads when I did the post validation. So I don't want to drop names, but basically the one client they had was obviously a certain type of person, a certain type of client. So I put it in, and we weren't able to name drop, but we were able to reference that we worked very closely with this and we helped them do this, and it was very very relevant when I sent them the email. And then after post validation plus removing Outlook, it was 1K in total. These are extremely high quality leads since the client works with this exact ICP. Then we ran a location-based campaign. Okay, that usually doesn't happen. Location-based campaign. So this is a once-off, but this performs really well. I get the location of my clients, and I basically say, uh, get the location of my clients and their team, and I then run a campaign saying, I'm actually based in London, our location if you want to meet up. My colleague's name is based in location if you're open to seeing in person. It takes a few formulas and some AI magic, but basically they were based in Miami and San Francisco. And I basically pull all the social media agencies in those areas and I sent them an email, and that did well because it was like, oh, okay, so you're actually going to pitch me in person, which means you did research, which is nice. Then the next one is competitor followers. So this is more in the test phase because obviously I need to test. we scraped the list of followers, competitor followers, and enriched their information using Clay. Then send them a relevant email. So we realized that most of the leads were freelancers or not in the ICP. So I'm actually still in the midst of figuring this out, which is a lot of people probably won't say. I probably would have left it out, but I'm in the middle of figuring this out, and I'm so confident this is gonna print money, but I just need to figure it out. There's like a few angles I need to run, but that was one of the other angles I was testing because it's just really relevant because you're scraping them and you get to just like run their information through the system. So there's that as well. Then there's the scripts, obviously. So we now have the leads list. We have a very strong leads list actually, and then we're running scripts afterwards. So I defined a method to book calls, even though I couldn't name drop their current client or have tangible case studies. So we devised a lead magnet, a free 24-hour prototype build out before any contracts were signed. So they basically ran a lead magnet where they build it out, show it to them. They were really good developers, so they were able to whip it up really, really fast. And obviously, it was just a prototype, so it wasn't anything too in depth. And yeah, so this was quite possibly the only way this could have worked. I'm not even joking because people were like, it was difficult because like, obviously they don't have case studies that I was able to drop or like any kind of outcomes. So I had to work around that a bit. So this is one of the ways we did it, and obviously it worked an absolute charm. So like if you're doing this and you have no case studies or anything like that, run something for free, very simple, and like that actually takes some sort of tangible work, and then you can run it for them like that. A lead magnet, they say. So when you open the email, it looks something like this. It was an opener, it was like hi name, opener, a pain point reference, and then a lead magnet CTA. So an example email of what this looked like was, of course, I can't drop the exact scripts because I can't have you guys rubbing my exact scripts. So I'll give you an idea what it looked like. Hi name. So you help ICP with service. Just wondering if you've been struggling to use AI and company names day to day. We recently partnered with a client case study to do X. Open to a free AI build out. Regards name. PS. Nice work with case study. So you're probably asking how I used AI to get like the ICP, the service, the case study, etc., all this type of stuff. So that's the next step. So and if you noticed as well, the script is really simple. It's really short. Like you can breeze through this. Like I saw you helped ICP. Just wondering, are you struggling with this? Recently partnered with X to do this. Open to free AI build out. Very simple, not difficult at all. So let's go to the next page. And it's this one here. Load. Okay. Righty. Saw you worked with this. Yeah, I'm just looking at this here. Yeah. So I didn't need to run any sort of validation, any sort of mapping, like names, etc., because well, this is all already like validated, which is nice. So it doesn't look like clunky as hell. So the case study company. So this is basically I scraped their site to see if they had this type of case study, and of course if they had none found or if they had certain companies found. So this was the prompt. Ooh, oh shoot! Keep going. Come on. Ooh. Find one case study from the following company. Here's their website. A case study is usually proof of success that a company can get results for other companies or people. Only look at provided websites. Do not search Google search elsewhere. It will be found on one of the following pages: our work, or case studies, or testimonials, or past work, or portfolio, or projects, or clients, or review sections. Do not return the name of the current company. Return just the name of one company that is in the case study, or if you cannot find one, return none found. So I ran this for all of them, of course, and it was spitting out names back and of people they worked with. I then ran it through validations, and then depending on what what's it again? Depending on if they did have a case study, I wrote a particular like line inside the email, which is so you help CPG brands with marketing services and wanted to reach out. So you help companies scale their marketing strategies and wanted to reach out. So it was depending on who they kind of worked with in the past, the emails. So I ran that, and that worked really well because obviously you're referencing someone that's actually relevant inside the case study. And with the ICP or the service, I don't have it there, but it's very simply, it's just saying, look, here's the website. Give me an idea of their ideal client profile and who they like to work with on a day-to-day basis. For services, it's like you just put it in the claim and just be like, look, here's the client's website. What services do these people provide? I want you to format it in this sentence, X, X, and X. So very simply, like it's not difficult. It's really not difficult. So next is, wait, just want to make sure I'm not missing anything. No. Oh yeah, so I think I already did this. Yeah, I did. I just did this. So the fourth step is Clay Magic. If you don't know what Clay is, you should go have a look at it. I've already showed it twice. To put it bluntly, it's a big Google Sheets with lots of APIs. Using Clay is basically adding fuel to a fire. So if you have an email that is absolutely cooking, like it is cooking, and you're like, you know what? I want to put some fuel on this fire and cook it some more. That's what you're doing with Clay. So it's perfect. It's just chef's kiss, you know. I did 2 things. So you helped ICP with service, got case studies from their website. You just need to change 1 to 2 things to personalize a full email because nobody really does like personalizes. Like people that use K now, of course, are personalizing stuff, but in general, like they're not really personalizing stuff nowadays. So full email with made up names. Hi Solomon, saw you helped investors find USA-based startups to invest in. Just wondering if you've been struggling to use AI in MX investors day to day. Recently partnered with Firevestor. Bro, these are some fire made up names to help them. That's not supposed to be do to help them book calls. Book 10 to book 10 conversations last month with USA-based investors, open to a free AI build-out. Regards, Dylan. Nice work with Technobia. This is what happens when you make up names. Bro, I'm making up words right now. So that's what happened. And then this is basically the responses I got from the campaigns. I can do Tuesday, tell me more, kind regards. Hey, name, let's do 1 p.m. this, and this. Let's do a demo. Thanks, Brian, blah, blah, blah. So, like, this is the responses I was getting. Cooked, absolutely cooked. Yeah, so these are just a few bonuses that I went through. Ran Smart Lead as my full infra. So, or sorry, my ESP center. So it was just Smart Lead. The full infra is Google. It was just full straight Google inboxes. This took 45 days of prep to get right. I didn't just wake up and become a magical. I thought this would be funnier, but a magical wizard that can book meetings. Like genuinely, I like it took a lot of work and a lot of hours. But it's copy and paste time now because I have the exact clay tables with all the automations. I have the ICP that works exactly, and like we're sending 3K a day. Like imagine if I just like double that, like 6K. You know what I mean? So it works. So time to scale volume. If you like this video, that's about it. And subscribe below. Bye.